guys, and welcome to my review of Haikyuu 210. We've yet to reach the starting point. And we start off with Ukai talking to the Karasuno members who have not attended some kind of special training camp, that what they're gonna focus on in the last month up till the spring tournament is their serves. And as soon as he said that, I was like, this could be an opportunity for Yamaguchi, because he already has his supreme floating jumping serve. What's it called? Jump floater serve. So this could be an opportunity for him to try to do something else, either perfect his jump floater serve, do another kind of serve, or do something completely different. Because Ukai did say that he was gonna get one of his friends that I don't think we've seen, and one of the other guys that we have seen. Not the guy who taught Yamaguchi, but the other guy, the guy who works in the hardware store, if I remember correctly. I forgot his name though. We also find out that the old Ukai, Coach Ukai, is back in the hospital. And since this is a sports manga, I do not expect people to die. But then again, he's an old man and old people die, so I know something could happen. What I think this means is that Ukai, the current coach Ukai, he's gonna be very motivated to make Karasuno win, or go further than they did when the old coach Ukai trained them, to kind of like realize some kind of dream, or live up to his grandfather's reputation or expectations or something. So that would kind of be like a motivator, not for the students, our main characters, but for like our current coach. So we go to Shiro Torizawa, and the coach kind of has this speech where he's like, this isn't a camp where you're enemies, this is a camp where you learn from each other, you enhance your own skills, and you steal other people's techniques. That's the kind of training camp this is. So you really have to make the most of it and use what you can to make yourself better by stealing other people's techniques. Which is kind of like what the coach of Nekoma said about Karasuno, that they are crows, so they will just steal from everything around them to make themselves stronger. And that's also how Karasuno has survived this far. They have stolen the synchronized attack from the school, I've forgotten the name of, Shinsen, I think their name is. Tsuki has a lot of techniques from Nekoma. We have Yamaguchi, who had the jump floater technique from the Neighbor Association Volleyball Club. Hinata has a few moves from Fukurodani, and of course from Bokuto. And they just, in general, take techniques from other people to make themselves stronger. Which incidentally is also the point of this training camp, so Tsuki is already quite ahead of other people because he's already been doing this. I don't think that other people haven't thought of this technique. I mean, that's how you learn a sport. You observe other people and then you try to mimic their moves, because some moves are just too basic not to do. But I think Tsuki has some kind of advantage in this situation. But going into the actual training camp, they start up with some light warm-up where they're just passing balls, trying to learn each other's names because it's friendly and whatnot. And I'm sorry if I'm supposed to know the name of the character that Tsuki partners up with, but I have no fucking clue who that is, so leave in the comments below if you know who it is, because I'm totally blank. But while Tsuki is out making friends, Hinata meets some of the Shiro Torizawa, I think they were second or third years, who are kind of also the bold boys, but that makes more sense for them to be, because this is their school, this is their gym, so it would make sense for them to be in the area and just, you know, help out their fellow first years. And then we kind of go a little bit around to some of the other people at the training camp. We meet Hyakusawa again, the 2-meter tall dude, where they're like, well, he has the, certainly has like the height and he has the body to do it, but he still needs to improve. We also see Kokanewa, the setter from Tateko, who's also really tall but still needs a lot of skill, and we see all of these people that we've met before, and I think we get some glimpses of new people. At least we get introduced to one new person. His name is Shota, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and he is a third year in middle school, which means that for anybody who thought for some reason that this wasn't going to go beyond this year, like in Kuroko no Basket where they just stayed in like first years, except for like the last chapter, we're definitely gonna see when Hinata is a second year, and if we see him as a second year, I think we're also gonna see him as a third year. So this manga is probably gonna stretch out for like 3 entire years in the canon universe. We also see some shots of Hinata getting yelled at because he isn't doing his job probably, or he's getting in the way or something, and even the other ball boys are pointing out that Hinata's getting yelled at a lot more than them, and that's kind of funny because Hinata just wants to learn, and it's kind of degrading for him to be a ball boy, but you know, what can he do? It's either that or he can leave, and I think he'd like to observe at least. But eventually the practice ends, and we see Kindaiichi looking at Hinata as he practices some ball tossing against the wall, as he usually does. And Kindaiichi is like, he's come far. Like, unlike the first time they fought each other back in middle school, Hinata's gotten experienced, he's gotten a grip of his strength, he's overall just gotten a lot better. And we know that as readers because we've seen his progress, but it's nice to kind of see other people pointing it out. And then Kindaiichi also deduces that, well, since Kageyama isn't here, obviously he must be at the Japan youth camp, training camp, because why wouldn't he be here unless there was something bigger? So we go to the gym where Kageyama is at, and the first thing he notices is that the floor isn't made of wood because this is a supreme and nice stadium, and they have like all of this equipment. Like if you looked at the equipment they had in their like stalls, they had actual arms when they were for block practice instead of just like boards. They use a karasuno, and they also had that camera that films so that you can review your own moves. It filmed at a 6-second delay so that you could do your move and then you could immediately look up at the screen and it would replay it for you, and you could see, okay, this is what I did wrong, this is what I did right, and this is what I need to improve on. But the players all line up, and the coach for the Japan youth, I don't know if it's just the Japan youth or if he's actually like the legit coach for like the national team of Japan, but yeah. And he gives a nice speech about how Japan is always looked down upon because they're small, and he's like, well, we should just like throw that opinion in the trash and show them that we've got something to show for ourselves. And he gives a really nice speech, and overall he seems really nice, which probably means that he's not nice at all, because that's how people work in mangas. They're not like they seem. But what I really thought was interesting about this whole speech, and when Kageyama was kind of just listening, is that he points out, or he just looks to a small boy and he's like, okay, so this guy has to be a libero because first of all, he's smaller than Hinata, and I have no clue who he is, so he must be good, he's small, he probably is a libero. Which probably means that he's not a libero because, again, people are not what they seem. I kind of want to see this person be like a setter or a middle blocker like Hinata. I kind of want to see that now that I think about it. I want to see this little small guy be a middle blocker just like Hinata, just to fuck with Kageyama, because so far the only reason Hinata is able to stay in his position as a middle blocker is because Kageyama is there, and because he has this agile body function and he can jump really high, and he has these very special features about him that makes it possible for him to be a middle blocker despite his height, and one of those of course is Kageyama. So it would be really interesting to see a small middle blocker just to fuck with Kageyama, because yeah, it would be perfect. Also, he could take notes and like give them to Hinata or something, I don't know. But we go back to Hinata, and he's training by himself again because he's frustrated, and he has like some sort of little flashbacky thing where he thinks about Kageyama, and he's like, he's still so far ahead, and we see like how he's trying to break free from the roots that's holding him back because Kageyama is so far ahead of him. Then we get a little scene with Tsukishima and Hinata, and we basically see Tsukishima, he comes and it's like, Hinata, you should really go back, we have school tomorrow, we can't miss classes, unlike Kageyama, who has permission to miss classes. And Hinata's like, I'm really sorry about interrupting the training camp, and he tries to apologize, and Tsukishima's just like, save that for someone who cares, and he just goes in on Hinata, and he's like, how's it like to be a ball boy? It must be so frustrating. And he just kills Hinata completely. And that was just a really funny golden moment. And then we cut to Shiratorizawa's coaches, where they have a conversation about Hinata. And they talk a little bit back and forth about allowing him to participate and how his skills are and stuff like that. And then the old Shiratorizawa coach is like, I admire his motivation, I admire his talent, and he just admires him, but there is no way he's gonna allow him to participate in the training camp. And you know what? That just means that he eventually is gonna do something that will allow him to participate in the training camp. Like, there is no way that after having said that, Hinata won't be allowed to participate at some point. And I don't know what he's gonna do, I don't know what's gonna happen. Something will make it so that he will participate. And then as a little last teaser on the final page, we cut to Ushiwaka, who is reading the advertisers in Shonen Jump for some weird reason, and he's like, tomorrow I will go to the first year training camp, and boom, chapter end. So overall, this was a really enjoyable chapter. I think I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say, but I basically think that Yamaguchi is gonna have some opportunities to move forward. Kageyama is probably gonna do something with the little guy. I don't know what's gonna happen to Tsukishima, and Hinata's also he's also doing something that will allow him to participate in the training camp, whatever that is. But yeah, if you liked anything that I had to say in my review, please give it a thumbs up and comment below what you thought of the chapter, because I really enjoy reading your comments. And subscribe to me if you want to see more of me. I also do One Piece reviews and Shokugeki no Soma reviews, so if you're into those, please subscribe to me, and bye.